finished, you'll do your piece to
Yeah,
camera.
I'm live streaming if you don't mind. If you don't mind being on there.
I don't mind being on there at all, mate. Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah.
Good to see
Where
you
did I
again.
see you last? Was it here?
It was here last.
It was,
yeah,
right, yeah.
We had our picture taken with Chris
Yes,
Alston,
that was it. Yeah.
the wonderful billboard Chris, whom I imagine you take a little bit of inspiration.
Well, I did. It was because of Chris I started doing this. You know, I followed. Well, partly because of it. There's a few influences that made to do this. Chris being one of them, and of course I've adopted his like tactic.
There's a modus operandi.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did speak to him before I started doing this. And I literally just said to him, I like what you do, Chris. I'm going to do it in the UK. Have you got any advice? And he said, good stuff for doing it. And this is my advice to you. And I followed that, and it works. You know?
Yeah, no, it's something fantastic. I run an organisation called Our Duty.
Our Duty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're just so grateful that we've got somebody like you doing this in the UK, because it is just so needed.
Yeah.
And a lot of us parents of kids who are affected by this, we can't go public. There's very few of us.
Do you know you're going public now, though?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I was going to say there's very few of us on Quick Hire One who have gone public.
Right.
And said, this is happening. Keep on.
Right. So, do you want to tell your story then?
The deal I've got with my daughter is that I don't actually say too much about her, and that is the quid pro quo for me being a public figure. So,
okay, fair enough. It must be so difficult for families that have been affected by this. I've spoken to many.
It really is, because they're all suffering from grief.
Yeah.
It's a very complex type of grief, because it's got what, in part of it, it's called anticipatory grief, where parents are scared of what's coming next. So they're scared of what's going on. They're scared of their breath off. So there's anticipatory grief. There's also the fact that the grief isn't socially acceptable. You can't go crying to your neighbour and say, like if your husband had just died or your wife had just died, you cry to them, oh my, and they don't understand. They don't know what that grief is about, and they don't know how to comfort you. But if you go to your neighbour and say, oh my daughter thinks she's a man, they don't know what to say, and some of them will say completely the wrong thing because they've all been brainwashed. They'll say, oh, how wonderful. So that is a real big problem with how parents work.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So what's it called again, the organisation?
Our Duty.
Our Duty. Can people find you online? Have you got an online presence?
Yes, we're on ourduty.group.
Ourduty.group. Yeah, so it's your duty as a parent, isn't it? Yeah.
It's absolutely that. Yeah.
Ourduty.group.
We say it's our duty to tell the truth, it's our duty to protect our children. And we've got a big organisation in the States, and a big organisation in Canada and in Australia, although we did start in the UK in 2018, so we've been going a while.
And have you been dealing with this that long yourself?
I've been dealing with this since 2015 myself.
It's serious, people don't realise. Have you spoken, these other groups as well? I take it do you speak to other groups that
yes, we do, yes. We've got good relations with a lot of the European groups, Generazione D in Italy, Transgender Trend in Germany, discriminate in France, and it's early in the morning, but I could ruffle a few more off for you.
What was one I came across when I was at the GenSpec conference? There's a group called Parents with Inconvenient Truths About Trans.
Yes, PITT, Parents with Inconvenient Truths About Trans. Funnily enough, back in the day when they were just getting started, we actually co-published them to give them a bit of a boost. But now they're flying with their own wings,
of course.
But they're a very important organisation because they give parents a chance to tell their side of the story.
Yeah.
And there aren't too many outlets for that. One outlet we had was the great Julie Billiman.
Yes, I know Julie. I don't know personally, but I know her.
Did a podcast series with our parents called Julie in Genderland. Right. That's on YouTube.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Julie in Genderland. Right.
So,
okay. Yeah. I'll check that.
We've been around a bit. We've done quite a lot. We put in amicus curiae briefs into the US Supreme Court. We've got court cases going on in Canada at the moment. At the moment, we haven't anything of particular note in the UK, although the recent case where we were trying to stop 17-year-old being described prosthetic by gender blood.
I know of those organisations.
Yeah, they're not.
And I know who's behind them as well.
They're ideologically driven, and they're hardly kids. And frankly, they stop off.
Yeah, they're making money out of it, aren't they?
I think they're putting people in jail.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I think they should jail the doctors and the surgeons and the clinicians that are poisoning the children's minds. That's the clinicians, you know, which are affirming their delusions. All right, they need to be in jail. The doctors that are prescribing these medications need to be in jail. And worst of all, the surgeons need to be put in jail. Never let out.
Absolutely.
Jail the doctors for me.
I'm 100% with you on that. They should have known right from the outset what they're doing is wrong.
Yeah. And for me, it's the politicians that put this legislation into place that allowed this to happen. The Gender Recognition Act in 2004.
It's an absolute horror show, yes. One good thing that came out of the Supreme Court decision back in March was that it really sort of ironically castrated Section 9 of the Gender Recognition Act, which was actually the worst part.
Remind me about what that section says.
So that was the line that said that a person who has changed, got a gender recognition certificate, has changed their
legal sex
for all legal purposes.
Yes.
And of course that was struck out by the Supreme Court. How ridiculous.
Well, you've got two pieces of UK legislation which contradict each other.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Supreme Court had to say, well, which one prevails. Unfortunately, we had the Equality Act, which came along in 2010, the Gender Recognition Act in 2004.
Yeah.
So it was only by luck of timing, really, that the later Act was able to be used all day well, obviously.
Yeah, of course. And that's it. It allows the worst people in the world, you know, to be able to, you know, manipulate whatever's going on in their head. It points them as the victims, the worst people in the world. You know, and I'm talking about the autogynephile men with fetishes. It allows them to infiltrate women's faces, but become the victim.
Yeah.
You know, how did they not realise that this would happen?
I've heard horror stories about what they do, and you can check this up online and do your research. It's absolutely horrible. A lot of these orthogynephilic men, they join local LGBT plus yada support groups. And so when you get a 15-year-old girl come along who thinks she might be a lesbian, quite sure, they say, "Oh, I'm a lesbian too. If you're a lesbian, you'll have sex with me." And they use their trans status to literally try and coerce these vulnerable, naive young girls into sex with them. And then what happens when they say, "Well, I didn't like them, they are lesbian," that kind of thing. They say, "Oh, well, you can't be lesbian, then you must be trans."
Yeah.
And so they're actually
trans.
using like sexual grooming to transition kids, like guilting them out of it, out of their natural life. It's just a horror show.
And what gets me as well is there's so many lesbian and gays that don't see this, that don't see it, and give me grief when I go and try and tell them and explain it to them.
Well, thank heavens for the LGBT Alliance, eh?
Yes, LGBT Alliance. Have you come across Gays Against Groomers as well?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, in the States. Jane and Michelle runs that. But here's the thing, once these organisations come out, they're then branded as far-right fascists, aren't they?
Yeah, and the irony is that almost everybody in them started off their life on the left.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, they basically, you know, the trans rights movement has hijacked the women's rights movement and the gay rights movement, because it wouldn't have had legs on its own, because it's not a human rights issue at all.
No, it's not. Well, the only human rights that are actually being infringed are the human rights of vulnerable adolescents to grow up naturally.
Yeah.
You know, people are interfering.
Yeah,
with
100% that, and I would also add that other women that don't want men in their spaces as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'm 100% behind the women's rights angle, but obviously
your focus is on the thing,
very
yeah.
much on it.
Yeah, that's it, 100%. I like Chris Elston, Billboard Chris. The majority of his work that he does, his focuses on the same as you as well.
I'm delighted to have known Chris for probably about 5 years now. When he put his first billboard up, around about the same time we put our first billboard up outside the Kaiser Permanente Hospital in Los Angeles.
Do you want to explain to people what the Kaiser Permanente are, because they might not know?
Yeah, the Kaiser Permanente Hospital is the home of Los Angeles Children's Hospital, and it was basically the biggest medical transition centre on the west coast of America. And so when the billboard race started off in late 2020, we put one outside the Kaiser Permanente in Hollywood.
And they're the insurance company behind it that are funding it, right?
Yeah, so they're both an insurance company and they own hospitals. So you know they've got the vertical.
It's unbelievable how circular that is. So they're the insurance company that are making money off the people that are putting into it, and then they're advocating for trans surgery and medication, and they've got the hospital, so the money's coming into them and going into their other organisations.
This is entirely true, but the good news is only this year, in the last couple of months, the Kaiser Permanente in Los Angeles have announced they're not going to do medical transition design. Right. So it's taken us 5 years to get there, and we're only halfway there, because what we really want to do is end medical transition for all vulnerable people. And we all know that adolescents above the age of 18 still be vulnerable to silly ideas.
Richie Herron is a perfect example of that, isn't he? I think he was 29 when he had surgery, is that correct?
Yeah, it's like 26 with the first one. So, and Richie's absolutely lovely, and it's worth checking out his story on YouTube as well.
Yeah, 100%, guys. If you've not heard of Richie Herron, I think he goes by the name of Richie Tulip on X.
Yeah.
And check out his story on there. I did a bit of a documentary, LGBT documentary, and Nick Cotton did an interview with Richie Herron, and that's part of the documentary that I did. Check back through the channel for that.
Brilliant. Okay, well, that's the other news movie, so I better get myself in.
Are you actually in for the full?
Yeah, I know Graham's not there today.
Is it true he's not there? I didn't know whether that was a red herring or not.
What, to try and
deflect attention?
I don't know. I suspect it probably is true, because they had that big hurricane, hadn't they, which might have disrupted a lot of flights.
Right, okay, so he's not come over. Right, yes, because the hurricane, Melissa was going across Jamaica, wasn't it?
Right, yeah.
Right, okay, because I thought I'd seen a tweet or a post on there to Graham saying he was over in London. So he must have,
Oh, maybe. Who knows? Because, he had very first hearing he had here. He played the sneaky deaky and he was already in the court, because he didn't want to think on his way in. But obviously, now he realises that he's actually the guy that everyone alive. I think it's a bit easier for him to come in and out of court.
Yeah, well, I think it makes sense that he just, gives, video link from Arizona. I mean, time, money, effort for him to come over.
Well, exactly, and you know what they say in this game, process is the punishment.
Yeah, absolutely.
These trans activists are trying to make life difficult for those of us who don't believe their cob's wallet, and they will try and put us through a process that deters others from standing up and being counted. And our answer to that has got to be, well, bring it on.
Yeah.
I'll stand up, I'll be counted, and eventually, the police will catch on to what's going on and won't be using
Let's hope so, because I think it's one of the captured institutions as well. I experienced it in the fire service. The police seem to be even worse. Remind people again what your organisation is and where they can find you online.
Our Duty, an internet search should find
Thank you,
us.
ladies.
Grok AI says nice things about us. And if you're unlimited, you can donate to us too.
Yeah, so it's
Group.
rduty.group, guys. Check it out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Indeed. Love to see you again.
Yeah, nice. See you later.